Now let's continue with 5 advanced strategies. We had the first one, deduction. This technique encompasses inferences, meaning that one should make while reading. Try to understand based on the evidence given in the text and draw necessary conclusion. This technique can save up lives while taking the TOEIC test. That's why it's pretty important to be able to make the deduction of what we have read, because readers must be careful in some gaps that are given in the text and arrives to the conclusion, as they can find questions in where the answers will not given exactly. So what do you need to do? Try to understand based on the evidence given in the text and then draw necessary conclusion by synthesizing inference and understanding relation within sentence. Some questions that readers can make in their minds while reading are the following. What is the intention of the person? What is he doing or offering to do? Sometimes we encounter questions related to dates, and we need to pay closely attention to specific dates and what is going to happen a day before or after from the date. That's something that is provided on the text. We have here two texts that is on the TOEIC. For example, we have the question here, when Miss Rose most likely arrived at the TIRS conference center. We know that here the conference is going to take place on 15 and to 16. So, but the paragraph before say that you have to arrive to the conference center one day before. So we have to interpret or deduct this information and to analyze that she had to be on August 14, or that she is going to arrive on August 14. Then we have the other strategy, that is interpretation. In this strategy, the reader must analyze what a text does to convey, meaning to go deeply in the text in order to understand phrases and the whole passage to catch the complete idea of the context. Basically, in most of the texts, we don't find the things directly. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out what the passage really means. You need to read between the lines to take the information the text gives you and figure the things out for yourself. So we have here in this paragraph, it's raining cats and dogs. This is not a real fact. It's not going to rain cats and dogs. So we have to interpret the information. It's supposed that it's going to be raining heavily. But in this passage means that is the name of one restaurant for animals. So we have to interpret the information. Then we had distraction, the way to take out the detail from the passage that makes you to catch the complete idea about it. Before taking the TOEIC test, you may practice this strategy, which will help you to absorb as much information as possible and be careful in specific details. Once you've been reading, mark the key points that makes you to understand the paragraph, because then you will need it to get the whole idea of the text. While reading it, you should create questions in your mind, who, where, how, etc. So at the end, you can make the connection and the association, and this will help you to train your mind and be ready and fast to get the idea of the text for the TOEIC exam. For example, you have to mark who, why. You have to catch the idea on the TOEIC test, because these are important details that at the end is going to be a question like this. Why did Mr. Hampton send the email? So you are going to already mark in your mind this kind of information that is going to be important to answer the question correctly. Then we had the other strategy, that is read for pleasure. And the best way to improve your reading comprehension level is to practice, and the best way to practice is to have fun with it. Without that, it's difficult to have fun with something that we don't enjoy it. So we need to make reading a habit to make it less tedious. It is impossible to make reading fun if we are not motivated. So let's read the text and something that we are interested in, and then the improvement will come naturally. What will really will help you is to read 30 minutes per day. If we read a lot, we can also enrich our vocabulary. And when we are taking the TOEIC, we will remember the meaning of some words. For example, in the following test, that we had the word transit. So if we already seen this word on another book, we already know the meaning and we manage on our lexicon. And we already know that we had the similar word, that is transportation, and we are going to answer correctly on the TOEIC test. Then we had the last strategy, that is reading by grouping words. This strategy will make us to discover the potential that our eyes and mind have, both a connection that if we practice, we will improve our reading skill quickly. First, we need to know that our visual field is wide and it is connected with our mind, because the time that we spend by looking or recognize a word and its punctuation is natural, and we cannot control it, but we can change it by reducing the amount of words in one only case. How? Well, by grouping words. How we can grouping words? It is said that we had a wide visual field around of 180, and we only used the 20% of for reading. In this case, we had the word found and number. If we look these two words, we are going to look individually, but we have to join in one way. In here, using an asterisk phone number, we are going to focus on the asterisk, and then we join the two words. And it's something that it will help you to improve our reading skills. And then we had the conclusion. Reading is such a complex activity that if one is not trained in developing skill comprehension, will be obviously impeded. So, in other terms, reading skill must be developed one techniques and applied for efficient and competitive reading to take place. So, thank you so much for your attention.